The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. Down in southern Florida, we welcome ourselves back to the Homestead-Miami Speedway. About 2 weeks removed from Daytona's thrilling speed weeks, we just watched a great truck race with some amazing multi-groove side-by-side racing. Slide jobs was the name of the game, and rim riding the fence like a boss. Tonight we succumb from the trucks and head into the Xfinity cars with more power, more speed, and we will see what these drivers can offer here on the mile-and-a-half oval. Welcome everybody to PTRTV for tonight's coverage of the Florida Estate Builders Area Pro Series, round number 2 from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. We're going to be doing 130 circuits around this racetrack. Going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth in the production trailer, and of course I got Hunter Sleppy here to help me out with the commentary. Brad is off covering another series here tonight, so be me and Hunter, and that should be a great time. Hunter, you know these guys inside and out from years of working with them, and I'll tell you, I saw an amazing truck race here Tuesday night. So much competition. Now we got a little bit more power to play with. See what these guys can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, nowhere better than Homestead-Miami, the true mile-and-a-half on the schedule. I say true as in just the overall shape, because this is pretty much what Atlanta used to be before it became a quad oval. So now this is like the true what if we had both Atlanta and Homestead, but it's just so highly grooved throughout the turns. It's 20 degrees over in 1 and 2, 18 degrees in 3 and 4, a little bit of degrees on the straightaways, but should be a fun race here for the Xfinity cars, in which we've been here 4 times, and none of those races had a single yellow in it. Talking about season 1, season 2, season 4, and then the most recent trip here in season 5. No caution flag has ever come out at this racetrack. I said the last time we were here that there would be a yellow. I'm not guaranteeing that. I mean, it's just absurd. It's just so groove binding, this racetrack. You get in such a rhythm and you can't get out of it, so maybe that's the reason why we don't get any yellows. Had some over on Monday night for the Cup side of things, had some Tuesday night in the trucks, but I'm not sure if we're going to have any tonight. I don't think that's a guarantee, but should be guaranteeing some fun action, whether it's on the outside, the middle, or the bottom groove of the racetrack.
Well, that is a very, very difficult stat to continue. Knock on your carbon fiber racing cockpits, whether they're, or whatever piping they are, your IKEA desks, whatever you got, knock on wood, see if we could continue that. But that is going to certainly be a hard task to follow, but wouldn't be surprised if these area guys are up for it. We will have some DNQs tonight. Looks like from what I'm seeing here on the entry sheet there, Hunter, we got 47 who have signed up for today's efforts. Of course, only 43 grid spots, and from what I remember, I think we only get 1 timed lap. And this is going to be a tough track to, decide where to run on that lap, because you will see guys rim riding, and you're going to see guys doing the Harvick right on that white line. And with only 1 lap, it's going to be really, really a mental challenge for yourself to realize which one should I take.
Just as long as you get the lap in, it shouldn't be that big of a task at hand. If you want to ride up near the wall, you risk the fact of losing that lap time if you make contact with it, so you don't want to push the envelope too much. But then again, if you're an open car, you're going to try everything you can to make the show, because we are going to have some guys going home. Who those guys are going to be, we'll find out in a minute. But we have Carter Coop, Ryan Olson, and I think special guest Dawson Miller up in the admin tower just watching over, so they'll have the D&Qs for us in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. And here's Jeremy Miller in that number 30 car for 609 Motorsports. Let's see where he decides to run here on the circuit. He's going to use all 20 degrees of the banking here, that progressive banking that Homestead offers. He is going to rim ride the fence, which we know does have speed, but it also has that risk involved. And in qualifying, that risk is a 0x wall contact that will invalidate your lap.
Looks like he's going to run the bottom here through 3 and 4. Finished back outside the top 20 at Daytona. Of course, the famous 1/1000th of a second photo finish he was a part of for the Area 500 on Monday, a couple weeks back. Just came up short there. He'll put up a time. Ed Robertson put up a time. Got some more guys coming through as time winds down.
Exactly that. There goes Ed Robinson and Justin Anasogak here. He is about coming off of turn number 4. He's got he's got the Dale Earnhardt Jr. scheme here. Cool little scheme there. The time on the board is Logan Clamp at a 33.87. And Asogak, he's going to put himself P6, about 0.2 of a second off of that. We got to get 4 guys going home here today. Here's Justin Opplinger in that number 55. Looks like the high side is going to be the preferred way around this place, Hunter.
Yeah, at least for the most part. Don't want to get into the wall, otherwise that lap time gets invalidated. But I think for the majority of the race, it'll be on the outside. But this short run, I think most people are going to want to run the bottom just to get sort of a groove in. But throughout the run, we'll probably see that outside lane be more and more used.
Sebastian Marin so far is on the top of the board with a... well, actually, nope. Just as I say that, Zach Nichols goes top of the board, 33.79. Drew Jua puts himself in the 7th spot. Who else do we got? We got Brian Chambliss. He's on his out lap right now. Jeff Wright also on his out lap. So again, these guys, some of them want to know what the standard is going to be, and they're going to try to set it once they have that. Is Cameron Hearn down in 23rd position.
Cameron Hearn coming through. He is an open car, so he'll see if that lap time comes through and if it's good enough to make the show. I think we had Connor O'Cressy come through. I'm not sure where his 14 is, but here's Trey Eidson on the track coming through for LVV Racing. See what his time is.
Yep, 34 flat. Here comes Reese Schaefer. He's coming off turn number 4, a name that I know has some speed in it from Series Pass. Let's see what he is going to muster. A 34 flat. That is a very popular lap right now. Jake Nichols, 73. He was highly competitive in the Truck Series race on Tuesday night. Had some good speed. Didn't work out with the strategy and the cautions, but coming off turn number 4, let's see what he can muster. Looks like that'll put him P5. Good lap for him.
Oh, Brad Slaughter in the 8 coming through to put down a time. He was complaining that the car was loose as a goose, and you can see he's fighting in that race car right now. He was not lying when he said it was loose, so he's got a handful. This is just in the qualifying lap as well.
Yep, and every time you do that, that's a little bit of speed, and when you're running that close to the wall, that is just that much of a risk. And now he's going to do the complete opposite. He's going to bounce off the apron, try to run too low, and cost himself time that way. And he is look at him. Is there an oil slick, a banana peel through 3 and 4 for Slaughter? Absolutely murderous lap for him, all the way down to P40.
The good thing for him is he's on a team with Low Dollar Racing, so he doesn't need to worry about that. If he's a go homer or not, he's in the show automatically. John Furness, no issue for him. 10th quickest time as qualifying is almost over. Yep,
there's Scioli there. He is going to be Scioli, I think, if I get that semi right. He is 33rd here on the board, and I think the only other driver who hasn't turned a lap. We haven't seen Alan Fox on circuit, and we haven't seen Devin Johnson. So I'm not sure what their status is, but either way, that is going to be the end of our qualifying session. So as you said, Hunter, we'll have the admins calculate who is going to race, who is not, and we'll calculate that during our 5-minute warm-up.
Yeah, if Devin Johnson didn't put down the time, he is an open car, so I'm not sure. I doubt he would make the field anyway. Looking through, some of our previous winners are in this field tonight. Cameron Hearn back in season 1. Well, still got to make sure that he's in. He was listed as an open car. Skyerly has won here twice back in seasons 2 and 4. And then Connor Yeroshak was the most recent winner in season 5, no longer in the series. But see if the track record, I'm not sure if the track record was broken or not. It was held from season 1 back when Alan Elwood broke it, or set it, I should say, 33.223. I'm not sure if that was broken or not during this previous session.
Yeah, I think we had a 33.9, I want to say the pole was. We'll find that out in a little bit of time here as we do come and start our warm-up session. And then again, this gives us a good opportunity to just kind of do a little bit of our bill paying here. Our cameras here tonight sponsored in part and brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. You can check the link out in the description. Andrew Cardinale with PTRTV, partnership we have with him to help give some of these cool angles that you are seeing. And of course, like and subscribe here on PTRTV. We just surpassed 1,500 subscribers to the channel. Happy to have that. And if you can help us grow that value, we will be quite chuffed with that, as well as check a look. Take a look at the Twitch. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure you follow there, because the Area iRacing Twitch, you could catch all the racing here all week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can subscribe using the Area iRacing emotes in the chat while earning double points as a subscriber, and to redeem for free merchandise starting at $5 a month, twitch.tv/Area iRacing. But if you're already watching on that, you just got to hit that little heart icon, and we'll see if we run this whole session out there. Hunter, I'm not sure if we have our go and go homes finalized yet.
I can go and check up in the Ammon Tower real quick, but I'm pretty sure they're almost done setting that up.
All right, so we'll get that information to you in due course. Again, people just getting their runs. Interestingly enough, a lot of the people that we're kind of looking at here in warm-up there, Hunter, they were running rim riding on the top in qualifying, but now in warm-up, they're running right on the bottom of the racetrack. Makes you wonder if there's any rhyme or reason to that. We know the track is going to change. We know the sun's going to start to go down, put some shadows on the track, and that certainly could affect how these guys drive this place over the 130 laps.
Yeah, it's also just about trying to find balance, whether your car handles better on the outside or in the middle groove or all the way on the bottom. Also, pretty sure the first 15 laps or so of this green flag run, if we make it that far, it's going to be on that bottom lane, just getting the tires warmed up, and then eventually as the run goes on, so will the lanes. They'll go higher and higher all the way up to the wall, where some guys are eventually going to get that Homestead stripe, because it's so synonymous now with Darlington. You hit that wall and then you're just your car is forever damaged. I mean, you can still carry speed, but it's not going to work out for you in the long run if you keep going up near that wall and scraping it time after time. Time will tell to see if anyone does that, and if we do have any yellows at this 1.5 mile speedway.
Yeah, I can see the 28 there. I think that's Travis Beckner. I'm starting to learn these guys. That's John Furnass. See, I'm about to give myself credit and then I fail. But it is, I will give credit to iRacing as well. First of all, this Homestead-Miami Speedway just underwent a graphics update in the most recent build, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. So kudos to them. But another kudos to them is the fact that, as you can see, that 28 of Furnace running on the top of the track, that line is competitive for the longest time in iRacing. And you're talking to a guy who's been playing iRacing since 2008, before some people probably were born in this session. That was always a line you ran for fun, but finally, you can rim ride the fence an inch off the wall, and that line is truly competitive, Hunter. But as we've said a few times already, and we'll say it to her blue in the face, the risk versus reward must be considered.
Has to be considered, because you don't want to put it up in the fence trying to go around someone for 15th on the fifth lap of the race, and you don't want to damage your car that early. You want to take your time with it and then just make the moves when it counts. And I believe we do have our go homer list. I think it's just Bolton and Mitchell, from what I'm being told from Kotaku.
All right, so that is what we got. Bolton and Mitchell. Is that
it's not Greg Mitchell in the two, because he's a locked-in car.
And it's certainly not just Bolton. Well, wouldn't imagine it is, but either way, we'll figure that out in due course. But again, we are just about to conclude our warm-up session here. So now what will be left to do is nothing more than go down to our starting lineup here on the evening. And our starting lineup here today is brought to you by Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a smaller, large home, a new shed, or triple crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and triple crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com to get started today. But let's go down trackside, give you that PTRTV Central Mobile Homes starting lineup here today from Homestead-Miami. Starting today's race off from the front row is going to be none other than at number 44, Zach Nichols, a 33.79. Sebastian Merritt out of Puerto Rico. He is going to round out that outside front row. We're going to have Logan Clampett in that third position with Matthew Batby in the fourth spot. Fifth will be Mr. Jake Nichols, with sixth being Justin Bolton. Seventh place.
Sorry, Corey, real quick. So, I messed up on that order. Bolton and Mitchell are in the show, but they have EOL. So, that sixth place starting spot for Bolton not going to matter. He'll drop to the rear. Same with Greg Mitchell in the 2.
All right, so they'll get the pit stall for that, but they will not get the starting spot. Braxton DeWeese will be in seventh with Drew Jua from Woodstock, Georgia, in the 8th spot. Ninth, we have Nate Stewart. Hopefully, he's all right in Kentucky. They just had some tornadoes. And then John Furness, spoke about him. He's in 10th there, Hunter.
At P11, going to have Bryce Senesac, the Indiana native, and alongside him, Michael Venable from Newport News, Virginia, rolling off P12. 13th, it'll be Reese Schaefer in the 07, and alongside him in 14th will be Trey Eidson from North Carolina, and then a couple more from North Carolina. I should say one more. Philip Groner starting 15th, and then the Florida native, Travis Speckner, starting 16th. Going to put on the show here at Homestead, along with Connor Horn. Going to roll off 17th, and alongside him, Dominik Lukomski. Sorry if I mispronounced that. The Poland native. Didn't know we had Poland drivers in this field. That's cool. Blaze McKinney, the Indiana native, rolls off 19th, and alongside him, the Alaskan assassin, Justin Asogak, rolls off P20.
Hey, maybe you can get some of these guys to fill up the spreadsheet for us there. Hunter. 21st, we got Jeremy Miller, and then an Australian native, Zach Curasar. I will get that flag updated the next week for you there, Zach. Not trying to offend the place there. Las Vegas native Daniel Day, and then Jonathan Evans, 24th. Forrest Smith in 25th. Matt Bell in 26th. I've known that name for years here on the channel. Andrew Bain in 27th. John Forbes in 28th. And then rounding out our top 30, Jeff Wright, and then Jimmy Cocker, the Virginia native out of Richmond. And I want to let these last couple scroll by because they will be wrong with a couple of the DNQs in there. A couple notables there. Scioli in 34th. You got Matt Kemp and Casey Lucatus there. And again, we'll just let the rest of these scroll by because, again, these aren't fully accurate. These are just the actual queue times as they stood.
Yeah, looking through the DNQs for that are Chambliss, Hearn, Pierce, Hamilton, and Johnson. So Devin Johnson didn't even get a lap in. Brian Chambliss, Cameron Hearn, Ben Pierce, and Hamilton. They are not going to be in the race. They're going to be watching from afar in the stands or in their setups or wherever they might be at this glorious racetrack. Should be fun to watch. And looking through at some of our previous winners, they've all started inside the first 2 rows. So if you're inside the first 2 rows, you're in a pretty good starting spot because each race has went caution free, but that could change tonight. Don't know if it will, but 140 laps should be fun nonetheless.
Indeed, the case here. Our race details here on the evening. 140 circuits around this place. That equals 195 miles, if you like the numerics there. 4 sets of good years, I believe. I'll let you confirm that, but I believe that's what we were told there. Full fuel loads, fixed setups, 3 green, white checkers. We didn't need any, and based on trend, we won't need any, but we'll see what happens in actuality.
Yeah, I think the 4 tire sets are accurate, including the ones that they're on for qualifying. So I think they got 3 more in the pits.
And with the fall off that we saw Tuesday night, I expect probably comparable, if not more, fall off here tonight, given the fact that, again, these Xfinity cars do have more power. They're going to put more load on, and that just usually means those good years are going to get eaten away. So you're really going to have to make that call. Are we going to split stints? Are we going to run fuel stages out? If this goes green, Hunter, it's a crew chief's nightmare.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The way I can see it, the easiest way is splitting it into thirds. So somewhere around the 40 to 45 lap mark, try to split it there. There might be a couple guys that try to stretch it for a half and half. I'm not sure if that's going to work under green flag conditions, but you never know.
Never know, indeed. But Pace Truck has been retired here tonight, back for the Ford Mustang FR500S pace car, who's going to take that hard left turn into the safety of the Homestead-Miami pit lane. And then Barney has the flag in hand. He's going to get us underway. Area iRacing Series presented by Florida Estate Builders. Round 2 is green here at Miami. Flail off into turns number 1 and 2 here, and everybody could already see the different lines at play. Everyone's trying to find their bit of real estate here, getting up to speed. And this is going to be pure pack racing for probably 5-10 laps, Hunter, as they get themselves sorted out.
Yeah, the first one to experiment with that outside wall was Travis Beckner, no doubt about it. The Hendry County flagman over there, back in the mid-teens, I should say. He's still trying to fight that car off turn 4. Marin's going to lead the first lap, and yeah, he's in a 3-wide battle, Travis Beckner is, but he's going to roll that top through 1 and 2.
Yep, everyone is just flailing on out here. Looks like the bottom 2 lanes are the popular lanes at the moment. The 66 there, Dominic Lumoski, our Poland native, he is the first to really ride the fence on that lap here. Somebody having some connectivity issues towards the rear of the field. Hopefully that clears out. iRacing did implement some new procedures against blinking, so hopefully nobody gets affected by that. We already have 3 miles in the books, 2 laps completed. Marin with about a 0.4 of a second lead, but not to fret, because remember, comers and goers with the tire wear here is huge, Hunter. What you see now is probably not what you're going to see at lap 30.
No, absolutely not. Expect to see some more drivers just work their way to the front, and then some that are in the front push their tires a little bit too soon and go to the back. But it wouldn't surprise me if Marin stays up there. He had 11 truck starts last season, and he won 5 of those, so he knows a thing or two about winning. See if it transitions over to the Xfinity car as Nate Stewart. Only down 1 position, but he's got a good look at a battle right behind him between Trey Eitzen and Bryce Senesac for 11th.
And they are battling side by side. The 19 on the bottom, the 09 in the middle lane. And remember, the Homestead-Miami progressive banking right there on the white line is 18 degrees of banking. Gives you 19 in the middle, gives you 20 at the top. But when those good years are nice and gripped up and new, you can kind of get away with running there on the flatter parts of the track. But once that tire wears, you're going to need that grip that the wall provides. So if you can save those tires to run the bottom longer, usually it works to your benefit. I think I see a little bit of 3 wide towards the back there. I see the 27 of Travis Beckner in the middle of a sandwich with the 09 of Senesac to the top, and then Philip Groner down to the bottom.
Yeah, Beckner, he used the outside wall in that first lap, and I think he thought better of it and got around Senesac's and just now clears the 11 of Philip Groner, but he'll still have a look to the inside in the 3. Senesac going to go a little bit higher. Then right behind them is Zach Kerr in the 12, trying to get around Senesac on the bottom.
Trying to get by on the bottom of the racetrack, and you're just seeing things at play. I will say a lot more ring around the bottom than I would have expected, more than we saw in the Truck Series race here. We didn't go over the weather here at Miami. I know the track temp was around 93 degrees or so in the truck race. What is it going to be here tonight? Get yourself some butter with your bread. It is toasty here. 107 on the track with a 77-degree air temp. About 4 o'clock sim time, and I can let you know that we are racing on the live date. So given that it's about 4 o'clock, I don't think that this is going to end under the lights at all. So it should stay pretty slick the whole time, Hunter.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's going to get hotter and hotter, slicker and slicker throughout the day as Logan Clampett's already reeled into the 24 of Sebastian Marin. I mean, this might be the battle for the win throughout the majority of this race. I mean, Clampett, he's been a threat in the past in the Area Pro Series, and Sebastian Marin, we already know what he can do in the trucks, but all about putting it to paper here on the 1.5-mile Homestead-Miami Speedway. Bappy's also trying to reel in. He got around Zach Nichols for a third, a few laps back, and he got his eyes set on that 42.
Yep. Bappy running there in the 3rd spot, and we'll just pull up the lap times on the ticker for a moment, let you know where those stand. And you could see basically everybody running in the 2s. Then all of a sudden, once you get to 4th, the likes of Zach Nichols, the 44 in the 4th spot, we basically have about a 10.5 drop between 3rd and 4th. It makes you wonder. I don't think it's pace, but I wonder if it's intentional, just trying to save the good years. We'll see what it updates to this time by.
I think it's intentional, at least for the 73 Jake Nichols. He's been one to know. He's been known for saving tires throughout the majority of the run, and then in that 40 or 50 lap run, whatever the tires are just at their complete end of their cycle, the 73, it just seems like he's still on newer tires and just flies through the field. So he's one to keep an eye out for in case we get these long green flag runs, which we have had in the past at Homestead. Some more side-by-side action. Senesac still looking to just find a lane and stay clear. I believe that's Connor Horn trying to get around him in the 57. McKinney and Daniel Day behind them battling, and Jeremy Miller rounding out the top 20.
I already become a fan of Daniel Day just by looking at his quarter panel. Has the channel logo on there, so he's automatically going to the top of my my list here. And I hope don't get yourself turned there. Looks like that 87 of McKinney nearly washed up, and now we're going to go 3 wide. It looks as though, because the 30 is going to have a good head of steam heading down the back straightaway and into turn 3. A little bit of bump drafting at play here, trying to give each other the ideal amount of speed off into the corners.
A lot of green here in this picture. A lot of green on these race cars. They say that green is bad luck on a race car, but don't say that to
I have heard
don't say that to Bryce Senesac. He loves the color green. It's been on his car or truck or whatever he's racing in. It's always green for that 09. So he's still just trying to muster his way through on that third lane. Miller's going to try and work his way through the middle. It's not going to be enough. He might have a run on the inside, and he will down the back.
He will down the back indeed. Looks like we may have some shuffling going on up front, or so it looks as though. Philip Groner side by side with Nate Stewart, and you can just see, look at the hands they are working in. You can see the red line on the middle of the steering wheel, and you can just see it swaying left and right as he is just fighting with that car. Again, we're over 12 laps in on this absolutely desert-like track temp, so certainly things are going to be slick. And one thing that we did notice on Tuesday night there, Hunter, talked about the sun going down. It's going to go down in turns 1 and 2 quicker, and you're going to start seeing that shadow go over the track. And I think when that happens, we're going to start seeing guys migrate towards that cooler track up there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot cooler than in 3 and 4 where it's still being basked in the sun. Also, if there's any sort of glare, it might be an issue for these guys in the sim, but not sure if it's going to be an issue for Jake Nichols. No relation to Zach Nichols to his inside. He's trying to get around him for the 5th spot. He's got a good run going down the back, and Drew Jew in the 38's trying to reel him in and get around the 44 as well. You think he clipped the wall just before entering turn 3. I'm not sure if that was just a glitch in the sim or not, but it looked like he scraped the wall on entry. But nonetheless, Jake Nichols gets around Zach Nichols for 5th.
Yeah, like 2 trailer park girls, he just went right around the outside there and just got the speed, and really the first one to put some serious, attempt into that second lane. And now you can see more people gravitating towards that middle line. Here comes Travis Beckner in the 27. I think he is the passer rather than the passee in this situation, getting by Braxton DeWeese there. So it looks as though that maybe that groove is heating up. We know that is a dynamic element here in iRacing, that the more that you run a single lane, more cars using the same piece of real estate, that track temp will heat up. The track temp heats up, the rip goes down, causes guys to search around.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's one of the bigger movers of the race. He started back in 16th and is up to, the 9th position. So he's up 7 spots since the start of this one. He's trying to, that's not him. It's the 12 of Zach Kerr getting around the 05 of Nate Stewart. So Stewart dropping back a little bit. And then up in front of them, it's still between Philip Groner and I believe that is that's Braxton DeWeese in the 13. So we got 13, 11, and 12. Close nose and tail on racetrack from 10th, 11th, and 12th. Beckner checks out.
And we'll just kind of go a little bit further back, get everybody their attention. You're not really missing anything up front. We're keeping an eye on those gaps for you. Jonathan Evans in the 26 takes a hard dive on into Daniel Day's inside there, trying to get some real estate, and somebody going up searching on the top. That is Jeff Wright in the number 48 Camaro. He's going to go all the way up to the top of the track, trying to find some real estate there, getting some momentum built up. He will clear the number 26, and now behind the number 26, that's Bryce Senesac in the 09 car. John Forbes, James Scioli back there. So again, we get close battling everywhere, but up front, Marin is holding on to that same approximate 2/10 gap over Logan Clampett.
Yeah, Clampett's backed off about a car length or so. He was within 2 car lengths. It's now closer to 3 for the 42. So he's just keeping him in sight. That be has lost about 4 or 5 tenths since the last time we checked in on the 2 leaders. He's got Michael Venable there in 4th, having a quiet 4th place run, should say. And then behind him, it's still the 73 Nichols just logging in laps. And then Drew Jua had a look to the inside of Zach Nichols. Not sure if that generated anything, but he's applying pressure to that 44.
Yep, here you can see the little bit of a line difference there. But just as I say that, the 44 will go up. Maybe he's going to find some speed in this middle lane, or maybe he's just trying to use a little bit of aero to Furness's detriment there, or rather Jewish detriment there, that Starbucks ride there on that number 38. Hopefully you're not a Frappuccino fan. My Caramel Crunch Frappuccino just got axed off the menu, so my little $9 once a month treat. Now I gotta find a new one. Any recommendations you can put there in chat for me, but here it comes Drew down to the inside.
Hey, Dunkin' Donuts, they got some good green tea. They got some nice refreshers as well. I think they have a raspberry watermelon one. That's the one I usually get now. It's limited time as well, so get it while you can. In the meantime, Drew Jua gets around Zach Nichols for the 6th position, and you mentioned John Furness in the 28. He's still closing in on that, but a little bit further back. I believe this is
we're back in 26th right now. It's Justin Oplinger all the way to the top of the track. That's Andrew Payne, the number 70 Tiltify Camaro. We got some Tiltify. There's Reese Schaefer. And then Justin Anasogak, I'm shocked he hasn't really made too much progress here on the day. He has actually gone down 9 positions here on the day.
Yeah, just buying his time early on, still just trying to log laps in. Don't want to overcook the tires too soon, otherwise you're just going to go further back. You just want to keep where you're at and just go with the flow of traffic for now. 20 laps in, probably strategizing with different people in the channels that he's a part of. Meanwhile, Matthew Bell closing in on Blaze McKinney right on his bumper there in the number 9. This is for the 18th spot, so very tight ride going into 1.
Now let's see, what is Matthew Bell going to do? He is going to back off, which is usually what you do when you're trying to motor up for a good run off. You try to back off on entry and motor off on exit, but really he got neither of the two there, as McKinney is going to pull away by a little bit down the back straightaway. This is 19th, about 7 seconds behind your race leader. We do have approximately a 12-second variance between the field. All the way down shotgun on the field right now is Michael Mohammed in the Dr. Pepper ride. He is trying to battle with Greg Mitchell. So this is about a third of a lap down after, I'd say roughly a third of a fuel run.
I'd say so too, and keep in mind Mitchell had that EOL, so he had to start the rear anyway. Hasn't really made any progress. The other one was Justin Bolton. He's stuck in 37th as well. So, and he had a good starting spot too. He was going to start P6, but had that EOL, so he had to drop to the rear and really hasn't been able to make up any ground whatsoever.
Yeah, just kind of stuck there. Again, all these guys with fixed setups, and the skill level within the series obviously doesn't facilitate a lot of variance in the lap times here, so that just makes getting through the field, and when you don't have cautions to stretch things out, to cause strategy plays, to make guys make decisions, does make gaining spots a lot harder. But going back to strategy, Hunter, we're getting to that point where decisions have to get made. Whether you want to go the full fuel run, that'd probably be about 50, 60 laps. Maybe you can technically stretch this to a one-stop race, but you probably don't want to do that. I think you mentioned maybe around lap 40 coming into play and doing maybe 45 and 90. So that's really only about 5-10 minutes away from where we are right now.
Yeah, coming up on it pretty quick, and it's not like Daytona or Talladega where you want to pit with teammates. You're just going to want to pit as soon as possible. For some guys, it might be a little bit earlier because of the tire wear that goes on with this track. So might see some comers and goers in the pit road as early as lap 30. But yeah, you want to strategize how to get on the pit road because it is a steep decline going from 18 degrees of banking all the way down to about 0. Through the pit as, whoa, just seeing a Sogak there in the middle of 3 wide. He's getting blocked by someone going into turn 1.
Yeah, that Tiltify car of the 07, a Schaefer. And looks like we may have a little bit of a sandwich down the back straightaway. Look at the run that Oplinger has off the top. That's what you want to see. as they come down the back straightaway, but now coming into the next corner. Is that a little bit of a dive? That's a big dive from Okresic there, and Okresic having some connectivity issues there on the bottom. Garrett Grant in the middle, kind of in the nervous situation, not really knowing what's going on. But again, these are some fast guys. Maybe you don't expect to see them in the back, but as you said, for one reason or another, they're stuck back there.
Yeah, this is 27th on back throughout the field. And Sogak running in the 29th spot, and Okresic, the 14, just trying to muster his way through, just trying to stay in the sim. Really, he's been the one that's having the connectivity issues. And Sogak with a nice run on Reese Schaefer. He'll dive to the inside in the 3, going to have a strong look at it. But Schaefer's going to run that middle, and Connor Okresic's running right in the tire tracks of Anna Sogak. And Schaefer's going to have the runoff 4 to stay just in front of that 88.
Yep, and they're going to have 4 side by side, but this is what happens at tracks that have a dominant high lane. Is you try to make that move to the inside, you lose the momentum, and then you actually don't have the opportunity to make the pass anymore. You're actually on the verge of losing a pass losing a spot because you lose the momentum off the bottom. It kind of turns into a risky situation, especially at this point. But I do want to go back and circle back to the point you made about the pits here, Hunter. Back in the day, I'd say for about the first 10 years that this track existed in iRacing, you did have to use both of the access roads to navigate this track. You had to pull off the pits in turn 3, go around the flat, and then enter the pits that way. Probably around 2020 or so, they updated it where you can, as you said, just flop right off the bottom in turn 4. There's really not a lot of space to slow down, and there's really not a lot of space to merge off either, depending on what lane people are using. You really got to look in your mirrors, and hopefully these guys practice that.
Some of them would take the time to practice, and especially under green flag conditions. That's all that we've ran here for the Pro Series. And the 4 times we've gone here, it's just been nothing but green flag pit stops and good green flag racing. Michael Venable in the 77 here, like I mentioned. Very quiet race. Although he's running inside the top 5, it's very quiet, and he's close to Matthew Bappy. Might have a little bit of a battle here.
Venable sped on lap 61 at Richmond in the 2024 Contender Series Pro Race. So clearly he has not forgot that pivotal moment at Richmond last year, or whatever that was.
The little PTSD moment for him.
Yeah, I don't know if he was in the scope of winning that race. Maybe we'll find out in post here. But he is making a serious charge off of turn number 2 here down the back, closing in on Bappy for that 3rd spot. This is about 2 seconds off the lead there.
They're bumping each other, hitting the wall in the middle of the backstretch. I mean, this is a prime time position. I mean, it's only lap 30, but this is a chance to talk to us after the race. I mean, this is a pretty valuable spot. And joining the fray, Jake Nichols not too far behind. He might have a look on Bappy heading into 1.
Yeah, it looks like Bappy is heading the wrong way. And speaking of going the wrong way, Logan Clampett, he has dropped a second off of Marin's pace there. So obviously that 24 has something solidified. And I do want to give a little bit of time to the leader, because this turns into one of these races where the leader is just so dominant that we don't focus on him at all. And, you got to give the leader his attention for doing what he's doing. So that number, let's just give the full sponsor shout out. The number 24 SWSimWraps.com Toyota there for Marin. So Nexus Motorsports, make sure he gets his dues there. But I think they are battling back there. Bappy and Nichols. Nichols got by Bappy, puts him back to 5th.
So the 4th spot goes to 73. He's been running lap times similar to those of Sebastian Marin. That last time, 35.6 for Marin. Nichols, although he was working his way around Bappy, 35.7. Not too far off, about the same lap time as Logan Clampett. Venable, somewhat closer to the leader that last time through. We'll see as it updates through, but he is again still on the charge, and he's got to be on the charge, because that 73 is now hounding his bumper in the 1 and 2.
Yeah, but this is where you see the comers and goers. But there's always a difficult point with comers and goers, Hunters, because obviously you want to be the person that's going to get that run, and you want to gain that time at the end, but you have to really get that that middle game situated. You can't give up too much time on corner entry. If you want, well, you can't give up too much time on the entry of the run, because if you aren't fast enough on the back end of the run, you won't gain all that time back.
It's all about how you work your way through, and where you want to give more throttle. You want to do it through entry or through exit. Exit might spin the rear tires a little bit, but do it on entry, you might lose some time on the corner exit. So battle in itself, as Dominic Lukomski in the 66, he won 21 official races in a row. That's a pretty cool stat to have.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if that'd be more impressive too if it was actually like multiple cars too, not just like spamming C fixed all the time. But either way, that is difficult to do. So kudos to him. I'd be interested to know more about that statistic there. But who is that? Connor Horn in the 57 609 Motorsports. He is running that middle lane, but didn't really get the momentum from it. And who is that? That was really slow there on the entry of 1. That was Trey Edson, excuse me. He's all the way to the bottom, but look at Zach Kerr trying to put some blue paint on the right side of that 12. He is loosey-goosey, running about an inch off the fence and doing it pretty well in that 13th position.
Yeah, he just about got some blue paint on that number 12. We're looking on that right rear. Braxton DeWeese in the 13, having a solid day so far. Was inside the top 10, but just holding his own in 12th for the time being. But look at that wrong corner exit. That's Lukomski in the 66. He'll have a look to the inside of Kerr for 13th, heading into 1.
Slide job! We talked about it pre-race there. No, not even. He just dove it to the bottom and it's stuck. I was going to say, we've seen the Homestead diver a few times here. But yeah, he just dove it to the bottom and it's stuck. Not sure if it was giving it to him or if he just saved that much tire. But either way, that 66 moving on up, in the words of the Jeffersons here. Speaking of moving on up, Jake Nichols. We talked about the 77. He had passed a few guys to move up into the bottom of the podium there in 3rd. But look at the 73 rocking the top. And you see the entry there. He backs off a little bit, and now he's running in that little shadow lane. That's some cooler track temp. And now look at this runoff. And the 77 will give him the lane.
As perfect as you can dial it up. If you're the 73 Jake Nichols, he's going to try and do the same through 3 and 4. There's no shadow lane there. Actually, he'll just come on and close the door from top to bottom. So P3 locked up for the moment for Jake Nichols. And caution on the track. This is a historic caution.
Yes. And it's the PTRTV car. Come on. Daniel, my boy. My logo deserves better than that. Let's see what happened. Uh, 30 of Miller into the wall and 61. All right, so it wasn't your fault, just bad luck to my logo there. And by the way, this is the Hendry County Motorsports Park instant replay. But let's go on board here and we'll see the grim outlook that Mr. Day had. Here comes off of 4. There's Miller in the 30. A little bit of a wiggled into the wall. I mean, there's really nothing you could do there.
Yeah, have that tap too. That didn't help the 30 at all, but that was back at around the 22nd position on the racetrack. And I mentioned it's a historic caution because that's the first time in our 7 seasons, this being our 5th trip to Homestead, that we've had a yellow in the Pro Series race. So a little history there in the making as pit stops are underway, and that kind of relieves the pressure of having to pit under green for a lot of these guys. Yeah,
kind of adds a little bit of a crutch into the mix there, and I think we have shared pit stalls going on. Somebody just morphed into that P1 box there, but the number 24 will exit the pits in first position. We'll just make sure that there was no weird strategy calls here. Wait for our ticker to turn on here, but any weird strategy calls? Nope, everybody, I mean, if you took 2 tires at this point in the race, I think you'd have to get a mental evaluation. So obviously everyone's taken their 4 tires. And as you said, it kind of, and I would actually go as far to say as this kind of cements the strategy for the end of the race. Would you say so, Hunter?
Yeah, I would say so. It's
barring
about another
cautions.
pit stop. Barring any yellows, yeah, it's about another pit stop here. So it's all about how you want to manage your tires. Now, if you want to push early and then just rely on your last set for the last run, or just continue to save and just keep doing what you're doing, there's really no wrong strategy here as long as you just follow through accordingly and looking through. It's incident point each for both the 61 Daniel Day and the 30 of Jeremy Miller for that yellow.
Indeed the case here, and again, just very, very quickly, Hendry County Motorsports Park is back. Join them March 22nd for the Thunder Trucks, factory stocks, and more. Tickets are $20 for adults, and kids age 5 and under are free. Bring the family to the track with a family pack of 4 for $25. Come see the southernmost dirt track in America, located in Clewiston, Florida, off Highway US 27. HendryRacing.com for more info. It's $25 to entertain a family on a Saturday night. Try to find that in this inflationary environment.
And you get to see the official flagman for the racetrack, Travis Beckner, there. He's back in the 5th row. I think he's in the 9th spot. No, he's actually 10th, I believe, on the racetrack. He'll be on the outside through 1 and 2, no doubt about it.
Yeah, we'll see how they all get themselves situated here as we come off of turn number 4 into the Geico, soon-to-be Echo Park restart zone at Homestead-Miami. There goes the Ford pace car into the pits. Didn't hit the tire barrier as it did in real life. Green flag is out. Our first restart in Pro Series history here at Miami, evidently.
Yeah, a historic restart in itself, with Marin leading by about 2 car lengths through that early in the going. Nichols to the inside, and I think that was Scioli there running that outside lane. Could be wrong on that, but nonetheless, still an intense battle occurring down the backstretch for a lot of the positions, as Venable looking to take 3rd away from Nichols on the outside.
Yeah, this is a good time to gain those positions. That way you can save your tires later. Maybe that helps you later in the run. The 73, 77, 2 cars that had some speed. And that 73, who was that to the outside? No, it was a 77 of Venable. Kissed the outside fence off of turn number 4 there. Hopefully no detriment to the car. But I think something to consider as well, Hunter, now that we know almost certainly that the runs are going to be shorter to the end, does that give you the ability to drive a little bit harder now, knowing that you're not even going to have to consider a full fuel stint?
Maybe a little bit now. I wouldn't push it too soon, because there's still over 80 laps to go in this race, so I wouldn't put everything I have into my car this early gone. I mean, we're not even halfway through the race, but gives you a little bit of pressure just to see what you got in case there is a late yellow. See what your car can do in the short run for about maybe 2 or 3 laps, and then just dial in for the long haul.
See what happens there. I'll say Batby to the top of the track, and I always feel this way as a driver, as when you're the only person doing something, either you are really smart or everybody knows something that you don't. And through 1 and 2 that time, I'm pretty sure that 71 was the Lone Ranger not on the white line.
Yeah, everyone just got their own way, but Matthew Batby's been making up some ground. Him and Nate Stewart, from what I've seen, they're 6th and 7th on the racetrack. They're close nose and tail now. Batby's going to look to the inside of Jua. Going to try and take that 5th spot, but right behind him, I think we had Stewart dive down a little bit lower. And he's trying to keep 27 of Beckner at bay, but Beckner's going to have a strong run to that outside and might even have a quarter panel. No, he'll duck back to the bottom and get some clean air.
Yeah, he'll fall back in line, and then just behind that, that number 44 is Zach Nichols. And then we have side-by-side with Furness and Kerr, 12 and 28. 28, I think he has gained some speed, gained some positions. Maybe he has. Nope, he's done Jack Diddley. He is exactly where he started in that 10th spot, and we've shown that 66 a few times. He's there in 12th spot, but he was making some serious headway and gaining some time. It looks like he's found some liking to that 2nd lane. Look at him get a little bit momentum. He's going to try to pin the 12 to the bottom, but I think the 12 will have enough space to move up.
Yeah, Lukomsky there having a solid run in the 12th spot. Meanwhile, behind him, battle for 13th, still raging with the 13. Braxton DeWeester was outside. Philip Groner in the 11. I think that was the 609 car that was running the outside through the opening lap there on that restart. So going to clear him through and settle into the bottom in 3 and 4.
And I am looking up front, and the gaps are staying modestly close right now. That 24, let's see, we've completed 46 laps thus far, and so far we're batting for we're going for the perfect game thus far. It's a very hard stat to get in an oval race, to pitch a perfect game, lead every single lap. We haven't seen it done in the real world, I think, since 2000 at a Cup Series level anyways. But Clampett staying closer than he did on the opening stint. And then that 77, we know he has some mid-long run pace, and let's see if he can maybe dial a little short run pace into there and take a stab at one of these top 2 guys.
Yeah, he's reeling in on Clamp It for the time being. Marin just minding his own business. We're in about the third or fourth inning, if you will, if we're at the perfect game level for a baseball game. So he's still running his own on the bottom. Clamp It trying to run a little bit high just to get some clean air, see if he can generate a run down the back. Venable still chasing him down the good gap between third and fifth. That's the fourth place car right in the middle. Jake Nichols still just buying his time and saving the tires for the longer run. Meanwhile, back here, Reese Schaefer in the 07, Jeff Ryan in the 48. They're having a good battle on the racetrack. This is right around the 20th position.
Yeah, 21st to be specific. Pretty good guess there, but saw him making a move. Now he is stuck down to the inside here. As just keeping an eye on everything, a lot of stuff to make considerations at. Who's that 31 car? Just trying to get everybody their little time on cam here. That's a 31 of Jimmy Cocker all the way up to the fence. As Justin Anasogak to his inside. Again, he is still in that 31st spot. Brad Slaughter, he is still in 35th. So again, some guys that we expect. I think, I've watched about 2 of these races thus far, and I've always seen that number 8 of Slaughter in contention. So not sure if it's still struggling to get through the pack or if it's maybe this Homestead's not one of his favorite tracks. Either way, but here comes a good battle. Scioli and Forbes in the 17. He's in the middle, under fire from both directions.
Yeah, Skyler in the 7. He's won here a couple of times in the past in seasons 2 and season 4. He's running in the 18th spot right now, but here comes 07 of Reese Schaefer, diving it down low, trying to get it around that 17 car, but there's just too much run there for the 17. And he's got the 48 of Jeff Wright right behind him, pushing him through. I think that's Ed Shearer Jr., I want to say, in the 17.
Ed Shearer, where is he? I haven't seen him. I don't think we've spoke of him here today. 17 is Forbes, but Shearer is...
Ford Jr.
Yeah, where is Shearer? Well, we'll come across him at some point or another, but either way, we're 3 abreast here, entering corner number 3. 07 of Schaefer to the bottom. In the middle is the blinker of Okresic, and to the top is Jeff Wright. Hopefully that connection stabilizes from Okresic. Looks like it has. The worst he can do is be the meat in the sandwich and come in and out of existence.
Yeah, you don't want a sloppy sandwich with that going all over the place.
Oh,
so
here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's the line up there. That's Tyler Reddick Jr., also known as Justin Bolton there. He had that thing painted on the fence and has the head of a steam of a champion there. Took it all the way down the back from about 2 car lengths back and pulls to the inside of Okresic.
Yeah, he needs to make up as much ground as he can. This is one of the few cars I think should try to get as much as they can with what they have, because he qualified 6th, but he had an EOL, so he had to start the rear of the field. He's up to 21st, and I guess he was on the championship winning team for the Xfinity side of things with Cole Custer back in 2023. A little bit of a cool stat there as the 14 continues to blink in and out right in front of him.
Yeah, that's always a big distraction. Probably one of the harder tracks, I would say, to have that distraction at play, where you are so laser focused on running, very, very specific lines, trying to keep it off the fence, trying to, navigate this pack, and then just having that distraction there certainly is not going to help things here. But going back to the lead and just seeing what's happening up here, you can see Clamp It kind of moving around a little bit. They were painting the line, and then he was trying to get some clean air in the middle lane using that 19 degrees of banking that Homestead is offering. Coming in 3 and 4, really haven't seen the top come into play at all in 3 and 4. And you can already see center off, that number 24 just has some serious grip, probably gained about a car length or so just through that side of the racetrack.
Yeah, his car is handling better than anyone right now, not just because of the clean air, but just how he's able to get through the center of the turn. And then on corner exit really is where it's starting to catch up to the 42, where he's starting to lose just a little bit of ground. He's still trying to get some clean air underneath the 42 machine, but he is struggling a little bit, just trying to get close enough to where he can make a move. Again, he's still got Venable about 2 car lengths back from him, and then 2 car lengths back from Venable is the 73 of Jake Nichols, still buying his time, and then Matthew Bappy holding that 5th spot in the 71.
Let's take a look here. Lap times as we're roughly about 15 laps or so into this stint. Clamp It about a hundredth of a second off, fastest on the track by a little bit. Actually, no, we'll go all the way back to the 5th spot. You can see Bappy there. He is one of the few, if only, in the 6s on the 10th of a second bracket there in that number 71. He's about a second and a half off, which that's overcomable, if such a word exists. About a second and a half. You can gain that back over the course of a fuel stint if he can keep that time up. Let's see what it is as they cross the stripe. Who is the fastest? We're down to the 8th. We've all lost about a tenth and a half just in that same lap as it is.
Yeah, it's still inventable by a smidge. 9/1000 over Jake Nichols, and then 822 for Clampett, 833 for Marin, 845 for Jua. It's very tight inside the top 6.
I was going to say, what unit of measurement would actually define a smidge? Do you have like a certain numeric that covers?
Just a few thousandths of a second.
That is a smidge. There's a little, everyone has their own little nuances here. But Scioli down to the inside. We're side by side for the 15th spot. Are we going to stay side by side? He's not going to pull the side draft. I'm not sure if these things have that side draft model in it that the trucks and the Cup car do. I don't think they've run the Aero model through this Xfinity car yet, but maybe soon to come. But either way, he'll fall back in line, and you can see there. Look at this just behind. You have McKinney, you have Forbes, you have Okrezik. They're all fighting for really about a lane and a half. Nobody's going to the white line. Nobody's going to the top. They all wanted to be right there in the middle through 1 and 2, and really through 3 and 4, as a matter of fact.
17th, 18th, 19th up for grabs. For now, it's 18th. It's Forbes Jr. to the inside, and Okrezik still trying to get a run despite blinking in and out. Bolton in the 4. He's trying to bolt his way through. Maybe through the 14 is the only way that he can do it. But the way his connection's been blinking in and out, and then Braxton DeWeese is now outside the top 20, back in the 22nd position. No, 21st. I was almost there.
Almost. But you can see the solar glare again. One part of what occurred if you are kind of looking at this race from an outsider. iRacing does quarterly updates, so there was a big one last Tuesday that accounted for some big graphics updates. Homestead getting one of those graphics updates, but one of the other things it did was lighting, which I guess would be in the graphics department. So the solar glare, the lighting at different times of day is much more realistic, but especially this Florida sun, really in the middle of spring, it has been very, very blinding. I think you vaguely got into it in the pre-race there, Hunter, and where this race is going to end around 6 o'clock, we'll see how that turn 4 looks, because it was not pretty, I'll tell you, on Tuesday night.
It's too bad right now. It's going to get a little bit worse as the race goes on. We're almost halfway. Crazy to think about.
Yeah, about 40 minutes of racing if this thing goes green. So, yeah, this thing is flying by. I see Taco Bell of 51, a Matt Kemp there. I just had myself a $7 Lux box. So you get those app specials if you buy fast food and you're not in the app.
Whoa,
well, let's cut that off.
Senesac spin to the inside. I don't think it's going to be enough for a yellow, but he had a moment there off turn 2.
Yeah, we have no admin cautions in the series, and he is off in the pavement that iRacing deems off track. So that would generally mean that will not cause a caution. And he gets loose. I'll tell you, Anna Sogak there, he lucked out that thing didn't wiggle back to the right and used all that new real estate, all that runoff pavement down there. So Senesac has a car. He's going to lose all his track position, go a lap down, but he does have a car if we get another caution for a free pass.
Go 2 laps down. I'm not sure if he's pitting or not. I don't think he's pitting, but he's going to be at a disadvantage tire-wise because he slid for quite a bit.
Bryce Senesac, oh yeah, he is putt-putting because he burnt that right rear into oblivion. And typically here on the iRacing service, when a tire gets hot, it gets mad, and when it gets mad, it usually doesn't, quote-unquote, get unmad. So be very hard-pressed to believe if he can get the handling back, but he is just on the lead lap. As the graphic will see, you can see 20 seconds up to the 40th position, but that's 32 seconds to the lead, aka that pink car in the mirror.
Yeah, I don't know if Sebastian Mayer got into some lap traffic on that last run or not, but there's a little bit of dirty air that's going to come from this 09.
Oh, he's still loose off of 2.
Yeah, he's got a handful. That tire is mad, but it's going to bring dirty air to Marin, and might see the gap close a bit between him and Logan Clampett, although Venable has been closing in a little bit to that 42, and still about the same gap between the 77 and 73.
As you said the first time, that 24 has had dirty air, and just to bring up the stints. I mean, everyone's going to be about the same, but you can see 26 laps has been the distance since that pit stop. So again, we're kind of considering here, this is exactly the halfway at this point in the race. Could finally do mathematics. Halfway is brought to you by Elite Entertainment. Add some life to the party this spring with Elite Entertainment, located in Boiler Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production, entertainment at any location, including karaoke, singo, musical bingo, and more. And that description and that link is in the video. It's a Linktree link for all the contact info. So check out that, our halfway sponsor here on the day here in area. And there goes Tenesac losing that lap as that car is just handling quite poorly.
Yeah, he's trying to make it through, but if we get another yellow, he'll be in the catbird seat for the lucky dog spot, so could be his saving grace right there. In the meantime, still some battles on the track. Nate Stewart in the 05, Zach Nichols in the 44. This is for 8th on the racetrack, and close to the bumper is the 44, but in the back, I saw someone go all the way up on the outside. Might have been Philip Groner again in the 11. That 10th place battle is up for grabs. Actually, it's 11th. It's right behind 10th, but they're close to Zach Kerr. That's Lukomsky in the 66, Furness in the 28, and we're on board with him now, the 11 of Philip Groner.
Up our Whiplash Sim Cam telemetry here. You can see you get that run off the tops. Sparks flying, not Taylor Swift, but Sparks flying off, I think, the 66 there. And look at him going all the way to the top. He's driving it into the top, which is usually not how you want to do it. Usually you want to roll it into the top groove, not just drive it, send it on in there. But it appears that it worked. So what do I know? I'm not a fast driver, as he tries to get the run to the 66, but he'll stay in line.
Rolling through on that outside lane. Connor Horn also as closing in on this battle. He's to the inside of John Furness there in the 28. So it's still some guys trying to work their way inside the top 10, and still you see that blinking 14 of Okresic pump coming in and out. He's close to, I think, Braxton DeWeese is the car he's battling with, and it's still tight. Actually, no, it's Blaze McKinney. DeWeese is behind it, but he's still blinking, just trying to make it through.
And I just wanted to point out something, because I like when I'm right, because it doesn't happen very often. But look at Furness there up in the top of the track. We talked about that shadow lane, and you can see right up there, that's where Groner is. They're shooting to get any tires they can in that shadow lane, because that little bit of real estate is cooler than the rest of the track. That gives you more grip. That makes that run off the top even that more advantageous. But if you miss that sliver, you're in the fence, and as more time goes by, that shadow will grow and grow, and eventually we expect turns 1 and 2 to be fully blanketed with shadow, if such verbiage makes any sense.
I think that makes sense. I think it's going to get to that point, more shadow coming through. 66 run his right sides all the way up near that wall where that shadow is. Going to get a nice run on the corner exit. Stay in front of the 11 of Phil Groner for now, and close enough to challenge Zach Kerr for 10th if he wants to. Connor Horn, mentioned him. He's up to 13th now, working his way past John Furness, trying to run his line. And here comes the 7 of Scioli. Not sure if we've seen him inside the top 15 yet, but he is in the 15th spot and could be close enough to work around Furness for 14th in a minute.
And we're hitting that point in the running and close to lap number 30 in the run. That this is where, just going back to the lead, this is where Marin just kind of, everybody else kind of falls off. And, I mean, naturally his times do fall off, but he just doesn't fall off the entire cliff to the same degree as everybody else. Because if we bring up his lap times here versus his best lap on the day, a 35.35 was his last time round, more up to date, a 35.45. So we are just about 2 seconds, but 1.8 to be specific, off of our best laps. That's even more drastic of a fall off than we saw in those Tuesday trucks, where I think we dropped off maybe about second to a second and a third.
Yeah, the Xfinity car, it's known for how much fall off it has throughout the race. I mean, it's just absurd seeing the difference in lap times. I mean, the fastest lap of the race was around a 33.6, I think, from Marin. I'm not sure if that's the right time I'm looking at or if it's from qualifying, but it's either way, it's almost 2 seconds off what we're running now. 35.4s, 35.5s, 35.6s. I mean, it's quite a drastic comparison between the two, as on track, Travis Beckner trying to work his way around Nate Stewart for the 7th spot, or trying to stay in front. I think Nate's trying to work his way through. Either way, they're going to duke it out down the back and into 3.
Yeah, it is. To see that connection in the background is pretty crazy. And look at, they're both fighting for that lane. Beckner does not want to use that top lane. He is pinching the 05 down as if Homestead is, circa 2003 with only one actual lane. He is pinching him down there in 3 and 4. Let's see if they play the same game in 1 and 2. And yes, he does. Beckner, he wants nothing to do with the top. 05 can't hold it down there. They're going to be pancaking, dooring each other up the track. And I think the 05 will still not clear. Not clear. He does finally clear, but how is Beckner going to feel about that?
I think I'll let him go. 05's going to run low. Beckner's going to run high. They're
Beckner's in the fence.
A little bit too high there, but
can Beckner, is he still in the fence? Can Beckner really be mad about that, though? As tight as he was pinching Stewart, can he really have kind of any ill feeling about that, knowing that it was going to be hard for that 05 to hold that tight of a line this late in the run?
I might be a little mad, but I don't think it's going to linger. I mean, unless the two are battling for a win later on, then maybe that'll come into play. But I think for now, it's just it happened, move on, because these guys still have to make pit stops, at least one more pit stop. So I think he's trying to work himself into getting into that mode where he can get on the pit road and execute that safely. Meanwhile, 10th on back, it's still a fun battle. Kerr's got a mirror full of Lukomsky on the outside, and to his inside, it's Philip Groner. 609 teammates coming through on the bottom. Right behind him, it's Connor Horn in the 57. Lukomsky's still running the outside lane. He'll have a strong run here if he doesn't hit the wall off 2. Still door to door down the back.
Yes, they are indeed. And you'd think this is, not any intentional. They didn't ask to be the broadcast battle all race, but I swear, Philip Groner, the 66, they've been on screen this entire race. They have been in a battle this entire event. We do have something shaping up for P2. I think the first time that Clampett has really been under fire. 77 running all the way up against the fence. 42 dedicated to the inside lane. And is Clampett going to give him the lane? He is. He's just going to say, Venable, you got the run. I can't stop it. Some connectivity from Clampett. I don't know if we've seen that yet. But look at the 77. One of the rare opportunities seeing someone run the fence in 3 and 4. Is that going to sustain? Is that going to give him the run off the corner? Answer is yes.
Yeah, you should point out these are teammates, by the way. They're teammates for Lucky Duck Motorsports, so running 2nd and 3rd right now. Pretty good for those two. Venable now is the chaser, and Sebastian Marin is still the hunted. Whoa, big moment there off 2 for Venable. Not sure how much chasing he's going to do if he keeps getting off corner 2 like that.
You can already see here from the onboard, you can see that, the dynamic groove in play, those bottom 2 lanes darker than the rest of the circuit, letting you know that is where the majority of these drivers have been running. Again, that groove will be even slicker this time by on the battle graphic. All but a dead tie with a 1 hair molecule advantage going to Marin there. Gap about 1.2 seconds. We will keep an eye on that over the course of the run. Another partner here today we want to give shout out to, the High Banks podcast. Just 2 blue collar guys, Nick and Alex. I don't know who Nick and Alex are. Maybe you do. But they talk about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 228 with area league owner Jacob Bell, available on Spotify. High Banks podcast.
Yeah, pretty good to listen to. Just talk about the league, and all throughout the season they'll talk about NASCAR as well. So good to check out that podcast on Spotify. As looking throughout the pack, we've got some mangled up running orders here. Some tight gaggle off turn 2, and that's Philip Groner going to the 9th spot, I should say. So Kerr's still in 10th, but not for the meantime, because here comes... this is just a lot. There's Horn, there's Nichols, and Skyley working his way through on the bomb. Justin Bolton, he's slowly but surely climbing towards that top 10. Had that EOL, so sacrificed the 6th place starting spot. Fell all the way back to the 40s, but now is working his way up through the teens and about to get inside the top 10 in a minute. Connor Horn is still trying to do just that, but look at the 4 on corner exit. He's going to have a nice run here.
Oh, if he has the space. Well, he didn't get the run. He may have been pancaking the wall a little bit too much, trying to get that IHOP franchise with the pancakes there, but kind of slowed him down. But we'll see what he can muster up here. Groner seems to really have it figured out, even through 3 and 4, which is where we haven't seen that top prevail to that same degree. But just as I say that, look at him get the head of steam to the outside of Connor Horn. Let's see what happens in turn number 1 and 2. That's Zach Kerr, highest he's been on the day in that 12 car, currently in the 7th spot. Up 15 on the day, but Groner's going to have the head of steam from the top, or is he? Looks like Connor Horn got a good bite down low that time.
Yeah, this is still a good gaggle of cars to keep an eye on, as, again, we're coming up on possibly the last pit stop of the race, and it could be under green flag conditions. So,
there we go, 44.
First one to drop. So this is with about 47, 48 to go, so wouldn't be good enough to go. Might have to stretch a little bit, but I think tires might be the deciding factor for these guys coming in. And
we've actually had we've missed some pit stops already. Logan Clampett he pitted last time by, so while we were watching that battle, we are seeing pit road become a far more busy place here at Homestead-Miami. Now, it's always better, I'd say, to have the undercut than the overcut. I guess if that makes sense. I would rather have the fresher tires and gain the time rather than have to charge at the end and hope you have enough laps. So we'll see how long Marin wants to stay out here, losing about 2 seconds a lap.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the long run is going to play out for him there, if this is what he wants to do, especially because we're 45 laps in on this run. Some of the guys pitted a little bit earlier, and looks like he's coming in now. So Jake Nichols is going to get some laps led, at least one. Matthew Batby is... Yep,
here he comes. Oh, he came in hard, too. You can see him slowing down aggressively there. Here comes Groner.
Whoa. Yeah, Groner came in a little bit warm there, too, so we'll have to see if he's speeding or not. But don't want to speed, and you don't want to overslide your pit box. That's the big issue here when pitting under green.
Now we'll see this time by. I kind of want to get it on board if we can. Let's just pray to the racing gods that Jake Nichols is going to come by this time by. He seems pretty dedicated to that inside. We can really show you what it entails here at Homestead. Yes, it is. He's hard on the binding, off the banking. There's that yellow cone to shoot for. Looks like he may have locked it up a little bit, but got in successfully, and he brings in behind him Drew Jua and a host of other vehicles.
As long as you lock it up, just as long as you're not speeding. Whoa!
Green car in the back there. Looks like may have been Jeremy Miller.
Yeah, it's a little bit too close to skidding off to that tire barrier there, or sand barrier, I should say.
Yeah, we saw the pace car have some trouble with that last year at Homestead, as well as, no, that was Phoenix. Kyle Larson was the one that pounded the pits here, but Nate Stewart staying out. And this is what a strategy that some drivers do, is some drivers who know they're not going to win the race on speed, they're going to try to win the race on strategy, and they'll do that by praying to the racing overlords that there's going to be a caution. And as you said, the statistics aren't in their favor, but if it does, it could change the race upside down for them.
Yeah, it would change a lot of things throughout the field here, but still closing in on 50 laps for some of these guys, like Nate Stewart still leading through. Connor Horn as well, running up in second. Bolin back up inside the top 5, although be it under differing strategies, as there's another car coming down pit road. Not sure if that's a newcomer or if that was someone who had a speeding penalty, but you just tell the difference here between the 44 of Nichols and the 05 of Stewart. Stewart's about to be on his 50th lap with the tires that he's got on, and Bolton, he bolted down the pit road. He couldn't take it anymore, and be in a good spot here towards the end of the stint.
Yeah, he'll be in a good spot. Now, we'll, one thing we do need to keep an eye on is our former battle for the lead. Marin, he is in the 18th spot right now. It's kind of hard to tell because some of them are on the lead lap, some of them aren't, but he's coming off turn number 2. Logan Clampett maybe about half a straightaway ahead. Now, what is the variance between these two drivers, you may ask yourself? Logan Clampett, he has been into the pit 6 laps ago versus 3. So 3-lap fresher tires for that number 24. And it's going to need to eat up what looks to be about 2.5 seconds or so on the racetrack, Hunter.
Yeah, not to mention Venable came out in front of Clampett. I think the two exchanged the positions before coming in the pit road anyway, but that's still
yes. We completely forgot about that. My bad.
That's still going to be big, though, heading into the final 40 laps of this run. Holy cow. Sorry about that. It's very windy where I am, and it sounded like a car crash, but it's just trash cans blowing over. But, yeah, it should be a fun stint to the finish here as long as things continue to play out the way that they're doing.
Now, Connor Horn has stayed on the racetrack and he has actually broke the 36-second bracket last time round as Senesac, his bad day goes to worse, hitting the fence. So Connor Horn, he is basically going for the Hail Mary right now because the amount of time he is losing, about 2.5 seconds per lap to all these guys on fresh tires, and at the risk of just, you can see how fast they're passing him. Just try to put into context how far back he's going to be after he makes that stop.
Yeah, the payoff for this would be for it to go green to the finish and for him to just drive through everybody. I mean, this was a guy, he's been outside the top 10 for a majority of the race. He was right around 13, 14, 15th. Was making up some ground, but it's just stayed stagnant there. So, got to try something different if you're in the shoes of Connor Horn, because if you're just going to follow what everyone else does, you're going to finish in the same spot, so might as well be worth the gamble. Meanwhile, Clampett's working his way around Venable in the 77. Could be a crucial battle there at the end, as Sebastian Marin's still closing in about 2 seconds behind those guys.
And you have to, as you alluded to, with them being teammates there, Hunter, they know that if we battle too hard amongst ourselves, that's going to allow that 24 to get in even faster, and we know he already has an upper hand on us, so they don't need to battle too hard and allow that upper hand to even further, take control of itself.
Indeed, as they're in a gaggle of cars that have yet to pit. I think that 93, that's Joseph Berg. He's in the 4th spot right now. Well, that's actually for position, so he'll be dropping outside the top 5 here. Matt
Kemp is in Justin Opplinger as they're getting by him right now. Connor Horn is still the leader by 5 seconds over Clampett here, who's that orange car bottom of the shot. But they do need to get by this 51, the Taco Bell car of Matt Kemp. They need to get by him, and they need to get by Connor Horn, as now Connor is 55 laps into his run, so you'd imagine maybe, I would say at most 5 to 7 laps stretching it that he'd have available.
Yeah, I would assume before 30 to go, you'd want to come in and pit, because if you stay out too long, you're not going to have enough time to get those new tires out. And you want to get at least some sort of lappage with the tires. Don't want to leave them with too little to work with. So we'll expect before lap 100 to see the rest of the guys come down pit road.
Exactly that here. Now, we haven't had a caution after the halfway break, but we usually have a read at that time, and that is rickshotsauce.com. Head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces in South Florida. You can try the Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series, which is on Monday nights. See which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the standings. And that is on the IDK Player YouTube channel, rickshotsauce.com. Check that out. And finally, Connor has had enough, and he will make heat into the pits.
Yeah, we'll surrender the lead to Logan Clampett, and Michael Venable going to take over second, and Sebastian Marin, he is already there. I mean, he's in the 3rd spot. He's about to be in second in the next lap or so. He has closed the gap between him and Venable. They're going to be duking it out, and meanwhile, lap car right in front of Logan Clampett, not what he needs to see. So here comes that 24 to the inside.
This is a situation where, if you're playing any other normal game and in chat, you would just say, you would just type in chat right now, GW Sebastian, because at this point, I mean, it's going to take a caution to shake this thing up. It's going to take a pit stop. It's going to take a massive mistake, or somebody else just flicks the light switch and they find it. And because other than that, all right, Clampett, he's right there. And I mean, a lap or two post, that 24 is gone.
Yeah, those 3 laps played a big difference in the tire wear for the 24 of Marin and the 42 of Clamp, and Clamp is leaving just enough room to the inside for Marin to get right next to him. It's going to be a drag race who leads at the line. I think it's going to be Marin in the 24, although no, it's not. It's Clamp for the time being, but the fresher tires for Marin, it's too much to overcome. New leader Sebastian Marin in the 24.
And as if it wasn't completely obvious, the perfect game is over, as we kind of alluded to about lap 40, but to no fault of Sebastian. There's green flag pit cycles. If there was a caution, maybe he could have preserved it, but all but the perfect race here. He has not been passed. He has not even been at close put in any position where he had to battle. It's just, he just has the Homestead touch. Next week, I believe, I think we're racing concurrently next week, we will be headed to my home track. I'm a Northeast native, and we will be headed to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for all 3 series, both Xfinity trucks and of course here in the Pro Series. You can check that out. Another track that has just underwent a graphics update, looking pretty spiffy. So if you like what you see, first time we've had to a pseudo short tracking area. That'll be next week.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we went over to New Hampshire. I'm pretty sure the only time. No, it was back. Yeah, it was the only time. It was back in season 3, and it was for Cup Truck and the Pro Series as well. So, it's been a while since we went there. So it's undergone some new changes since we last went. And this was even before the new update came out. So we were just gonna run it on the old run, but the new update should provide for some new entertainment as Batby and Drew Up battle out for this top 5. Good entertainment in itself.
The update, I think it's going to be more entertaining for me and the fans at home. As far as I know, they didn't change any physics things with the track. Hopefully that wall thing on the back has gotten fixed, but art update up to 2025 iRacing standards, and again, looking as beautiful as we do here at Homestead. Puts my home track in the forefront. Unfortunately, my old seats are finally gone, because the 3 and 4 grandstands have finally been demolished. That's where I used to sit back in the day, but no longer. But either way, Zach Nichols up to the 8th spot. He is battling with Beckner here. Drew Jua, I don't know if we've talked about that. He's in the top 5 here, so he has been doing a fabulous job. Maybe he might be 6th because Batby is on the bottom. Batby's trying to hold that bottom, but thus far that 38 making do on the outside.
Yeah, he's still holding tough in the 38 car, so 71's got to give him a little bit more of a run for his money. And then a few seconds back from those two, it's Travis Beckner in the 27, mentioned the Florida native, the flagman for the Hendry County Motorsports Park. So having a solid day in 7th. Zach Nichols, one of the first guys to come down pit road, is over in 8th. Zach Curry's been hovering around that top 10 the entire day. He's got a 1-position cushion between that spot and the 10th place spot that belongs to Nate Stewart.
Yep, that'll be our top 10. Groner, the 11th place car, and the number 11 automobile. Can't focus on Okresic too much because he's having his issues, but he's in 12th. Justin Bolton 13th. Dominic Lumowski in 14th. John Forbes Jr. in the 15th spot. Scioli in 16th. Brad Slaughter has recovered to a modest degree. He's up to 17th. Braxton DeWeese, John Furness, and Blaze McKinney. That'll be our kind of on the fly, sort of halfway through the field, but we do have another battle here. That is Stewart and Kern. Looks like Stewart will move up into the 9th spot, getting by that number 12 and not missing anything up front. Those fresh tires in that rocket ship car of Sebastian, almost up 2 seconds on the field right now. Look at Jua.
Clampett's starting to fall off the pace a little bit here. The 38 and the 71 getting around him.
He is slow. Is he? I mean, did he fill that thing up with fuel all the way? He is slow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's amiss there with that 42. We'll have to check in on that, but it's very odd.
I mean, is he saving? I mean, obvious. No, what is going on here? Is he hardware failures? Is he bored? I don't know, but yeah, usually you don't run down the colored pavement there.
Yeah, I don't know if he's that bored because he lost a top 5 spot, so I don't know what's missing that 42.
There's an old clip of Dale Earnhardt having I think he was having a seizure of sorts at Darlington on the pace lap. He was driving rather erratically. Turns out, he did have a serious medical problem they had to address. That was an old Dale Earnhardt story back from 1996, but Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clampett's just, he realizes he's not gonna win, and he's just kind of just entertaining himself here. I'm gonna go with that, but maybe we'll find something more definitive. But either way, he is now out of the top 5. And again, Drew Jua, fabulous day for that Starbucks car. He started 8th up to the 4th spot. And let's just get a ticker on the lap times here as they update. He is running, right up there, potentially in the realm of that 3rd spot, but unfortunately it's but almost 2 seconds till he gets there.
Yeah, still got a good bit of ways to go, and with the way the 71's been racing him, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to close that gap. Might have to do a little more defensive work and maintaining that 4th position. And here is the 14 of Okrezik. Despite him blinking in and out throughout the race, still a solid run in the 12th position.
Oh, I see some 3 wide.
Holy cannoli. Yep, that is some tight racing there throughout the back half of this field in the 3.
Now that is, again, the solar at this point, the sun glare. It does make it a little hard to see. That's Evans to the bottom. 78 goes to the top. I think the 78, yeah, he's 1 lap down. Michael Mohammed, he has fresh tires, using them to his advantage there. So he'll get by. And just as a kind of a little summary of sorts, we do still have 33 drivers on the lead lap, the final of those being Forrest Smith, who probably will go a lap down. He's 30 seconds in arrears at present. We have 6 guys 1 lap down: Slate, Opplinger, Mitchell, Berg, Lakatis, and Mohammed. Trey Edson, I keep calling him Troy. Trey Edson is 2 laps down, and retired from the event is Bryce Senesac, Daniel Day, and Alan Fox did not take to the grid here today.
Getting settled in for the last 20 laps, and these guys not settling down yet. 7th place up for grabs, Stewart and Beckner. So 5 to the inside, the 27 to the outside. They're closing in on Logan Clampett in the 42, and depending on what he does, this might be a 3-way battle in a moment.
Yeah, he does. Logan Clampett, last time by, he ran a pretty decent last lap, right in pace with the leaders. Not sure, last time by, he was actually faster than the leaders, so I'm not sure what went on for those lap and a half, or he was rather erratic, but the pace has stabilized there. But Nate Stewart up to the 7th position here on the evening. He is one of our iRacing Coca-Cola Series drivers for Jim Beaver Esports. That's why that name is familiar, and you can see the Coke logo on his picture there. So having some fun in the Xfinity cars here today in area, and that 7th spot, trying to close in on the, is he still active Coker? I know past, present, but Logan Clampett as well.
Not sure if he's still active or not, but he all I know is that whenever he would come to area, he would always be a threat to win and would put his hat in the mix. He'd win a couple of races, but would be just short in a few others. There was one at Bristol. It was the last lap pass. He was bound to win, and then John Furness came out of nowhere with new tires and snatched the win from him in the last corner of the last lap. So he's always a threat here, and running in the 6th spot, just trying to make it to the finish. Got another 19 laps or so before he can get that done. It's a 3-second gap between the leader Marin and second place Venable. Meanwhile, back here, Jeff Wright in the 48 and the 70 of Andrew Payne battling for position.
Yep, this is battles in the back. Every position matters. So closest, trying to find some good side-by-side battles, guys. We have not spoken of here on the evening. I don't think we've mentioned Andrew Payne at all. He is in that 70 car, and he will clear 28th. And then here comes Jeremy Miller rocking the fence, and they're going to be 3 wide here. Who's 3 wide for 30th? But that matters. Points add up. You never know what's going to happen later in the season. You need all that you can get. Every position matters, and good learning experience trying to figure out, if you're not going to win the race, you can learn some things that, can carry over to other tracks, particularly when it comes to running these high lines. Like they said, look at all the way down to the bottom here is Miller there in the 30.
Yeah, trying to make the most of what he can in that number 30, running in the 29th spot. And Jeff Wright, bit of a off week for that 48. He was always inside the top 10 throughout the season last year. So not sure if Homestead's not his track or not, but he struggled a little bit today. So he's trying to make it to the finish. Meanwhile, the 4 of Justin Bolin, it's been an uphill battle for him since the start of this one. Qualified 6th, had the EOL, so he had to start at the rear of the field. He's worked his way all the way up through the 40s, the 30s, and the 20s. He's in the 12th spot, and he's hunting Philip Groner for 11th.
Yeah, we'll come down here with 17 coming to 16 to go. Let's take a look and see if that sun that we spoke of earlier is playing any issue for some of these guys coming off of 4. It was blinding in the truck race, and looks like thus far we're going to just evade it here. I think just by the time this thing ends. And remember earlier we talked about our weather conditions. This track was a sultry 107 degrees, and it has gone down to just a Paisley 100 degrees here. So track is still up and slick, and as we are now past 5 o'clock sim time, only one caution here today for cause. That was well early in the event. One caution for 3 laps, 5 leaders, 6 changes. No surprise, the fast lap goes to Marin at a 33.53.
Yeah, also the yellow happened around lap 38, lap 39. Whoa, crash on the front stretch. The 17, Michael Mohammed to the 78. They collided on the front stretch, and the caution's going to come out. Holy cannoli, we got a late race restart on our hands here, Corey.
Yeah, this changes everything, as Larry Mack says, because this is going to give guys an opportunity to get a fresh set of tires on, and we'll really get to see who can do a late race run here, as we'll try to sort through what happened. You said that was the 17 car, I believe you said?
Yeah. John Forbes Jr. in the 17, Michael Muhammad in the 78. Muhammad was on the outside. The 17 of Forbes Jr. was on the inside. Not sure what happened, but they collided on the front stretch, and the 17 went spinning to the inside.
Yeah, let's take a look here off of turn number 4 on our Hendry County Motorsports Park replay. Yeah, 78 walled himself there, and then bouncing off of it was the 17. Just pure bad luck there for the 17 of Forbes Jr. He was running just outside of the top 10.
And for those at home, that's 2 incident points to the 78 for the cause of that yellow. Just nowhere to go for John Forbes Jr. Kept it out of the inside wall. Thought he was smacking it, but he's fine for the most part, and we got pit stops here. Now this, I wouldn't be surprised if some guys take 2. If you're running around 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, just try to make up some positions here in the late going.
Now we'll see what happens here. So, I mean, it's going to be 4 tires from everybody. We were so far into the stint there, I cannot consider that 2 tires would even be a consideration here. So everyone's going to take those times. We'll see what the pit box times, who is going to have that money stop. Usually there's about a 1.5-second variance that can happen in the pits. And exiting, 14.5 for the leader, 14.4 for Venable. Batby had a good stop. He'll end up 3rd. But again, we're only going to have 11 laps to go at minimum here. So everyone is going to be driving at 100%. So I would think at 100% with a slightly grippier track. I mean, the 24 has the upper hand, but it's no longer a gimme.
Yeah, it's no longer a gimme, but he does have that advantage as the leader. We saw in that restart back in lap, I won't say 42, 43. He had a 2-3 car length gap heading into turn 1. Just matters that much more to be the leader here at the Homestead. So it should be fun to see the battles throughout, because like you mentioned, there's no need to save anymore. We're closing in on single-digit laps left. We'll have 11 to go when we get to the restart itself, but should be a lot of 3 wide and maybe even 4 wide throughout the course here.
I certainly expect that. You'll see guys using all. I think this track is roughly, I mean, someone might be able to give me the statistics, but I want to say this track is about 40 feet wide, and we'll be using all 40 feet of it. You know that there's some team plays at hand here. Some guys up front are going to be working together, maybe timing this jump. You can see the, obviously the SWM cars there. The 24, you can see the 73. You have to expect some affiliations going on there to time this. But ultimately, again, 11 laps, fresh tires, wide track, multi-groove. This is going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I mean, Marin's probably going to get the jump. Like I mentioned, he is the leader. But as far as Venable, Bappy, Nichols, Jua, those 4 positions could change quite a bit over the next 11 laps.
Absolutely the case here. We'll find out with 11 more circuits around Homestead-Miami Speedway. The 24's had the race in the bag. Now he's going to have to earn it the hard way on a late race restart. Fresh tires all about. Let's see who gets the jump, who makes the power move. We're all going to get the green flag, and let's see how this shakes out in turn one.
Yeah, there's the gap I was talking about between Marin and Venable in second for the time being. A lot of three-wide moves being made. Guys going all the way up to the outside wall, trying to get the most that they can in the final 11 laps.
Now they're flailing down the back straightaway. The 24 Marin lucky to get that jump you spoke of, and even though we're on fresh tires, even though everyone's going flat out, he somehow managed to still shoot himself out of a cannon here. Gets a huge gap. Somebody rocking the fence there. That's a 27 of Beckner. Venable in the 77, just a little bit too far back. Now you're going to have Batby and the 73 of Nichols going side by side. Clamp it down at the 5th spot. He is down on the bottom. No, excuse me, he's rocking the fence trying to do something in that 5th spot, but he is just stuck right now. And in the fence.
Oh, that's tight on corner exit. There's enough of a gap there on 1 and 2 where guys can get all 4 of their tires beneath that shading over from the billboards over 1 and 2, and some guys are taking advantage of that. Beckner being one of them, but he's still trying to hold ground. Oh, really tight on exit there. He's going to give no, he's not going to give a run to anyone. He might take it 3 deep. No, just shove Kurt going into 1.
Yeah, he gave a little bit of a shove to the back bumper of that car in front of him, the 12 of Kerr here. And look at how close he is to that 05, that left rear quarter panel, giving no room for error there. Trying to just get him up the track, trying to find that real estate here as we are now sub 10 laps to go. Missing nothing up front. All the drama we were speaking of up front with Marin, seeing if he was going to be under fire. All for naught. He is out by a half a second here. But the rest of this is a hornet's nest that could spur another caution.
It very well could. It could be around mid-pack, or it could even be right here with Nate Stewart and Kerr door to door for the 7th position there. They're not giving up just yet. Look at the 4 of Justin Bolton. He's looking to get a top 10 finish after what's been a roller coaster of a day for him. Qualified P6. Had to climb his way from all the way back in 41st or 42nd all the way up now to the 11th spot where Zach Nichols was at 10th
in the fence. Somebody there, was one of the Logitech cars in the fence there back of the field, but we do stay green from that. Didn't cause any sideways action, just caused a little bit of a scrape back there. 27 and 05 coming back together. They are adoring each other once more through the center of 1 and 2. Here comes the 44 and Nichols to the inside. That is going to be a potential loss of 2 spots for Nate Stewart down the back.
Yeah, Beckner shutting the door as soon as he can on that 05. Zach Nichols to the inside. He's loose. He's going to save it for the time being, but here comes the 4 of Justin Bolton going down to the inside. He'll have a strong enough run to get beneath the 44, and he almost makes contact with Stewart in the 05 coming on the final 6 laps of this race.
Absolutely no space being given, but what do you expect at this juncture in the race? Now everyone's rocking the fence. Look at the 05. The right rear was tail out there. He was full send committed to that top lane, and he's going to get the momentum to take advantage of it. But look at Bolton down to the inside. He got an even better run, not missing anything up front. Marin is up by 0.6 of a second. Even on this short stint, he still has that 5th gear no one else, well, 6th gear, 5th gear no one else has.
Indeed, as they're coming across the stripe now, 5 more laps to go, 4 more for any sort of yellows that could spawn any tomfoolery, green, white checkers, but for the time being, it's still hard racing throughout. Here's John Forbes in the 17. He was a part of that last yellow. He's still in 14th, and John Furness is right behind, actually looking to the inside, trying to get around him for that position.
28, he has certainly had an up and down day. He has had his attention for good reasons and bad, but still Groner starting to fall back here. He has that number 17. 17 made a good recovery after that spin. He is right here, has a slight chance maybe even to get into the back of the top 10 here, but coming through 1 and 2, they're going to change lanes to go all the way up. Groner up to the top. He's been there all race. But, you know, at this time in the race, we're going down to 3 to go. And, I mean, what else do we say about that number 24? As can't say something because somebody almost lost it there off of 2. Must be Okresic, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's because he lost her or because he keeps blinking in and out, but It's been the struggle for him all race. And hey, now the 4th position up for grabs. Jewel on the outside, clamping on the inside. 3 laps remaining from Homestead. The 42 is going to set it in low. Meanwhile, the 38 is going to roll it in high.
Man, that 38, how did he not pancake the fence? $1 million question. Clamp it nearly cleared, but had to leave the lane open. Now the 73 of Jake Nichols, he's just trying to figure out which lane's going to be advantageous so that I can put my car there. He's going to go right in the middle there. Clamp it's going to rock the white line and have some momentum. I think this time Clamp it can clear if he chooses to. He does, as we come to 2 laps to go, as Marin quite literally driving into the sunset.
This is all about who wants to talk to us more after the race. Jake Nichols, Logan Clampett, or even Drew Jewin, the 38, still trying to get some momentum on that outside. Matthew Batby close behind as well. If anything happens to these guys up here, that top 5 could be up for grabs for the 71. But up front, it's still Sebastian Marin leading the way through. Coming up on the final lap of this race, doesn't look like we're going to get a yellow, Corey.
Yeah, coming off to, if we make it to the white, we make it to the checkers. Just going to make that little bit of a drive. There it is. The race is going to be official. And Sebastian Marin, who has dominated the race. How much has he led? 115. If he can complete about one more half circuit around this place, 116 laps will have been led. Absolutely just gargantuanly dominant effort tonight.
Well, a good battle for 3rd down the backstretch, door-to-door, Clampett and Nichols. But coming through 3 and 4 for the final time. He won 5 truck races last season. Couldn't compete in the playoffs, but if he did, he would have been the championship contender. He'll look to be a championship contender this season in the Pro Series. Sebastian Marin wins at Homestead-Miami. Logan Clampett's going to get 3rd. Unbelievable finish from Homestead, and coming up just short in 2nd, Michael Venable in the 77.
Clampett is still going for a ride here. There we go. Yeah, Clampett. We're going to continue. Well, you know what? It's good. You said who was going to want to talk to us more there, Hunter. It's going to be Logan, so we could ask what happened to him on those few laps there. But again, Sebastian, I mean, it's just one of those times where every racer has it once or twice in their career where they have the magic touch. They have the turbo pad. They have that, you know, permanent mushroom that just allows you to just speed up the whole race. Just very rare in this astute of a series, Hunter, to have a car that dominant.
Yeah, it's all about transitioning for the 24 of Marin. Like I mentioned, he won 5 times in the Truck Series, and that was before the playoffs began. He couldn't be able to run the championship rounds, so he forfeited his playoff spot and gave it to someone else who was close in points, but not sure if that's going to happen this time around. A dominating performance. I mean, leading over 115 laps of this one at Homestead. Didn't think we'd ever see the day that we'd get a caution here, but we had 2 of them, and it set up for a pretty good finish at the end.
Yes, it did, but ultimately the fastest car won the race, and that, of course, being the number 24 of Sebastian Marin. 2nd place goes to Mike Venable. Good job from him driving up through the field. Logan Clampett in the mix all day, just didn't have enough for that 24. Gets a 3rd. Jake Nichols in 4th. Drew Jua in 5th, and Matt Batby, Zach Kerr, Travis Beckner, Justin Bolton, and then Zach Nichols in the 44, rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, an impressive top 10 from Bolton there on the 4. Skyley just missing out on that in 11th. Stewart was in the top 10 for the last laps, but fell back to 12th. John Forbes Jr., 13th. Good recovery from him being involved in that last caution. Groner to 14th. Furness 15th. McKinney, DeWeese, Lukomsky, Evans, and Jeff Wright round out the top 20.
Next page of results as follows. Garrett Grant in 24th. Connor Horn, that pit stop he made put him back, and he got a 22nd out of it. Justin Opplinger 23rd. Brad Slaughter just never was in the mix today, 24th. Matt Kemp 25th. Ed Robertson 26th. And Reese Schaefer, Forrest Smith, Andrew Payne, and then Jeremy Miller, the 30th place for the 30 car.
These guys, it's a day to forget for them. Matthew Bell, Jimmy Cocker, Justin Sogak, Rafe Slate, Joseph Berg, Casey Lakatos, Greg Mitchell, the last car on the lead lap. Michael Mohammed had the 2+ incident points for causing that last caution. Trey Eidson, the 19, and Connor Okresic finished 3 laps down. I think he pulled it into the pits after he just kept blinking in and out. Yeah,
and ultimately only 2 other drivers took time today. Bryce Senesak, he had some early issues, and the guy with the PTRTV logo, terrible luck. With an incident out of his control. Daniel Day will be shotgun on the field of the guys who took time here today. So this will allow us to go right to Victory Circle, and let's just see if everybody's staged up for us and ready. They are not. We'll just have to go and Well, Hunter, let's see if we can have you go up and running down pit road, Michael Waltrip style, see if we can catch up with Sebastian Marin.
Oh, I got to do my stretching first. I gotta get my legs warmed up. I've been sitting here for a while now, but I'll do my best.
All right, there he is for you.
All right, race winner Sebastian Marin, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Oh man, what a dominating performance for you. I mean, it was just a all-out dominating performance. You made the jump from the trucks to the Xfinity series, or the Xfinity car, I should say, for the Area Pro Series. Talk us through your race and just pretty much what you saw, because it seemed like you had the car to beat and no one could touch you.
Yeah, the first run, obviously, kind of got fortunate with having a better restart there than Nichols on the bottom, I believe, and got the lead pretty early. I knew Clampett was going to be insanely fast, so I just wanted to keep track position on him. I felt like it was going to be me, him, and then obviously Michael came in there late, strong, so I felt like it was going to be between us. So we were all so close and even that I felt like if Clampett had clean air, I probably would have been stuck there, just like he was stuck with my dirty air. After that, it was just managing gap. I didn't want to go too hard where I would have fell off in 10-15 laps, and I didn't want to be, so slow that he would get a run on me. So it was just managing that gap to him. And then obviously the green flag pit stops. I knew the overcut here was strong, so I wanted at least 2 laps compared to those guys, which I ended up doing, and very fortunate that a yellow doesn't come out, because if a yellow comes out, then I just lost track position to both of them, and then it was going to be very hard to pass them both without killing my tires and then free falling through the field. So everything kind of worked out great. Nothing really bad happened that really threw a wrench in my race, so very pleased with that. But yeah, you don't get these races very often where you can kind of control and manage the whole race. So definitely very fortunate that I could have this one. So yeah, that was a great race. Thank you for everybody in the field. That was probably one of the best Homestead races. Just driving, just experiencing. That was a lot of fun. So yeah.
Well, glad you had a blast, and hopeful that you can run the full schedule. I know last season you won 5 times in the truck series, but couldn't make it to the playoffs. Is the goal to chase for a championship this season and run the 5 playoff races?
Yes, that is the goal right now. If nothing changes, that will be the goal. Obviously, I couldn't with the trucks with Road to Pro and Contender. I had some drivers that I had to spot for, so I couldn't stay full time there. So that was unfortunate. But yes, that is the plan, to stay here full time and hopefully go for the championship.
All right, well, congrats on the win, the first of many for LVV Racing in Season 7. It's Sebastian Marin.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, and that allows me to go into second place right now and find from Lucky Duck Motorsports. We got the 77 of Mike Venable. Mike, you were started 12th, got yourself into the mix. Seemed like you really had a long run car. You managed to work yourself through the field in that opening stint where we went green quite some ways, and then you had some battling to do, especially through that green flag cycle. And after a good restart, get yourself in second, man. Summarize that night for us.
Wow, that was a lot of fun. I haven't had that much fun in a race in a long while. Being able to manage tires throughout like a whole run like that was a blast. Seb's just on another level. There ain't no beating that guy.
I mean, obviously
But
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. The Meals on Wheels machine we gave her a shot tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of talk about the dynamics of this race. Obviously, like you said, tires at play. You don't know when the caution's going to come, if you're going to have to run a fuel stint, if you're going to need to pit early. And then you also have to consider, do I run the fence? Do I run the bottom? Where do I go? Like, where did you find that number 77 was most comfortable here today?
Just on the seam, lefts on the seam on both ends was working for me. I couldn't really run down low through 3 and 4. I was losing way too much time. Through 1 and 2, they were doing like a slide line from the white line up to the seam. I could not get it right, and I was losing too much time trying. So I just stuck to the seam,
And obviously at the end, I mean, you knew that Sebastian had this race basically wrapped up about halfway the speed he had, but you had to think it's a late race restart. We're all on freshies. I got a chance. What were you hoping happened there that at the end that ultimately didn't, that would have gave you a fighting chance at it?
I needed him to get loose, but I figured he wasn't going to. I added a little bit more fuel than he did, and it didn't work out for me.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. We head to a completely different circuit in the form of Loudon, New Hampshire. What's the analysis there? What's the comfort level heading to the mile track, the Magic Mile?
I am not great at New Hampshire, so it is in the air to where I'm running in that race.
All right. Well, you got a good run here. That's all that matters, man. And we'll see what you can do next week. I have a feeling it'll be better than you think.
Thank you. Yeah, have a good night.
Too. And now, Hunter, you got some good questions to ask because we really need to figure out what happened to Logan Clampett, but he got himself on the podium here. And a very interesting shot here on the broadcast as we get Logan in the booth.
Yeah, he's almost slid into the 77 there after the race ended. But Logan, congrats on the third place run. It seemed like you had the second best car in the field, and then after that pit stop sequence cycled out, something happened there where you're kind of just swerving around the track. Well, first off, what was going on there, and then second off, take me through the ending of the race for you.
Yeah, I had to go onto my fourth monitor and join a class meeting that I completely forgot about. That's why. So I had to drive and try and find the Zoom link on my canvas and stuff.
That wasn't on the bingo card. I got to say that.
No. I was gonna be curious to see how I was gonna do that run. Thankfully that caution came out so I could make it up and get to third, but I feel like I struggled through a lot of the race. Not really sure what I was exactly doing wrong. I'll have to learn. This was a really good learning experience for the college championship in May as well. So I'm a little disappointed. I really wanted to do better. So I'll have to kind of learn a little bit more from Sebastian, but it was a fun race, and the car and setup, it was pretty much perfect for this track. Best car on the game. So yeah, it was fun.
Well, congrats on the third place run for your Lucky Duck Motorsports machine. We head over to New Hampshire next week. Any thoughts on that heading into it? The flat track compared to the banking mile and a half at this 1.5 mile super speedway.
I have no idea. I haven't really ran a whole lot of laps at New Hampshire lately. I'm sure the track is a lot different compared to what it used to be. So it'll be interesting to kind of hop in and hopefully figure it out.
Alrighty, Logan Clampett, third place finisher. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, and that'll wrap up our post-race show here on the evening. I think the only people we have yet to give a little shout to is the Shop Area iRacing page there. If you're watching this on Twitch, easy to access, but it's also in the chat. Race fans, visit shop.areairacing.com for high-quality merchandise at low prices. Shop from over 100 selections of t-shirts, hats, champion brand clothing, and more area accessories. Easy to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. Shop.areairacing.com. And I think that covers all the ad reads, so we got the bills paid here today. Again, Whiplash Sim Cams helping present our broadcast here today. You can check out them on Facebook if you liked what you saw, and you can get some of those cameras for your own personal use. But Hunter, as you said, it was a race that the stats said we weren't going to have a caution. We had two, but all in all, a good clean race, a good green race, and ultimately the fastest car won.
Yeah, that's the main thing. 116 out of 130 led for Sebastian Marin. And I mentioned earlier that the winner from the previous four races came from inside the first two rows. Well, Sebastian Marin started shotgun on the grid in second, so not a surprise there that he took off early and really didn't look back. Phenomenal race here at Homestead. Mentioned the historic yellows and that. We rarely get them here for the Pro Series, so that's kind of cool to see. Should be even cooler to see the Pro Series return to New Hampshire along with the trucks and the Cup. It's been a while. It's back in Season 3. Everything's changed about it between the drivers and the cars and maybe even the track in itself, so it should be fun to see what next week has in store for us.
Exactly that. Stay tuned. Of course, like, share, comment, subscribe here. We've had a great chat here today. If you haven't liked and subscribed here on PTRTV, please do that. Of course, like and follow there on the Twitch. And make sure you stay tuned next week. We'll be back Tuesday and Thursday with the Trucks and the Pro Series. And, of course, the Premier Cup Series will be on the IDK Player YouTube channel. But to wrap things up here tonight, that is going to be Corey and Hunter. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.